Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we just go review with a non-spoiler review, but now we're going to do a completely dirty spoiler review. Deadpool and Wolverine!
I love how we have the same opening as last time. It's just me squealing.
Is that ever a bad thing?
No.
Actually, if you were to do that in theater, I would punch you with adamantine.
I was quiet. I was good in this movie theater. Guys,
right.
This is our spoiler review.
If you are accidentally hitting the spoiler-filled review and meant to hit the non-spoiler one, please eject now. I do not say that in any of our podcasts, but please do eject if you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet.
We don't want you here.
We don't want you here!
We only want the sweaty nerds.
The ones that were in a broken-down theater with absolutely no AC, and more likely than not, a ratio not in favor of those who took showers today.
But we still want you here if you have seen the movie.
Absolutely. So, Annmarie.
Wow.
We first off, our review of this movie, mine was a 9.5 Deadpool variants out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Annmarie.
I had a solid 10.
She has a solid 10 out of 10 Deadpool variants out of 10.
Can we talk about it?
Flame on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan and I have been talking about this for a while. We had several Annmarie needs come out about Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry about that, but I'm a huge Marvel fan. And I can't believe they did not let these cameos slip. I can't believe it. You got Human Torch, you have Elektra, you have Blade? What are you doing here, Wesley Snipes? And you had Channing Tatum. Damn it, what?
Yeah, I mean, it just... Okay, let's clear out the room here.
Okay.
You called Gambit.
I did. After Fly Me to the Moon, I said, I really hope he's in this. I hope he is. I
swear I thought you said that he was going to be in it.
I was pretty confident he's going to be in it, but after seeing Fly Me to the Moon, I was like, I really hope he's in it.
Which, again, I can't believe that's the movie that did it for you, to make you think that, but...
What was it going to be, Magic Mike? No, Fly Me to the Moon.
Honestly, more likely.
But you called...
Yes, I called Wesley Snipes Blade.
I can't believe he's in this movie.
In all the right ways. Oh my gosh. And the combat, we got Blade in the MCU. Before we got Blade in the MCU. That is so bonkers.
I love that his line is the only Blade.
I'm Blade, the only Blade.
That was cut in later. I love this movie. It's so meta. Like, they make so much fun of the Fox universe. They make so much fun of Disney. And they also just, like, there's timely jokes in there. Like, that Blade joke, the Furiosa stuff.
Yes, another thing I called, if you go back to, I believe it was our Furiosa review, I'm like, or no, it was one of our most recent ones. I'm just like, I told Annmarie, I looked her dead in her brown eyes, like, hey, I think that, like, it would be crazy if they had this thing, like, part of the reshoots or whatever that they did was to, like, make better context for when this movie comes out, like, to get other movies that came out around this time, well after they were this movie was into production, but around the time of this release, to make it more, like, modern and actively meta. And boy, did they do that with Furiosa.
I love it so much.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was so timely, and it made me smile because that was such an esoteric, like, thing to call. But man, I was so happy.
I love the jokes in this movie. It's so meta and so much fun, and you can tell, like, there was stuff added in a little bit late, and I'm so happy they added stuff in because it enhanced it so much. Like, again, the cameos were so much fun, and I want to talk about them more, but the most fun I had was how much fun Ryan Reynolds was having ripping on the Fox universe. Like, My favorite one is when he grabs the camera and is like, fuck you, Fox, I'm the Marvel Jesus, and
I'm
smashes
going
it.
to Disneyland. That's the part that like got me cracked up, other than the camera. That was wonderful.
And I love how the movie also relates to the MCU too. Like, Wade didn't get into the Avengers, and so now he's being transferred into the Avengers or the Sacred Timeline by the TVA. Like, that's so cool that you were able to include that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just so, like I said in the non-spoiler review, this was a love letter, but not only a love letter to the comic book world, like into 20th Century Fox specifically, but it was also like a declaration of independence as well at the same time, where it's just kind of like a fuck you. Like, it's also like giving the middle finger to the Disney empire, but at the same time, like, just thriving in it.
We're here, baby. That's what Ryan and you said. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, like, he's gonna do this till he's 90. I like how they reiterated that. Oh,
can we just, again, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have such good chemistry in this movie.
Oh, yes.
They know these characters so well, and I loved seeing them on screen. Like, this is the most comic-accurate Wolverine that we've gotten, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, I do say I kind of would have liked to see it, like, when they were doing the flashbacks of what happened and why Wolverine was sad, like, as mad and as downtrodden and as belittled as the way he was. I would have liked to see a little more in the flashbacks, like the brief, quick, like, I don't know, maybe a couple more in there, because it felt like way too quick for me to comprehend. I don't know, maybe that was just a me thing, but
no, I agree, and that's like kind of the negative side of this movie, and where we both kind of agreed Deadpool 2 was much more. There's weird pacing in this movie, and I'm interested to see why, because I do think there's stuff that's left out of this movie or on the cutting room floor. That part was kind of weird. When they meet nice Deadpool, it was kind of weird too. There's certain scenes that I'm like, oh, this doesn't flow as seamlessly.
Well, I mean, and honestly, there's a lot of that in the Deadpool world where it's just like, let's stop and talk. And the pacing isn't really the problem for me as much as it was just the like, just being able to keep up with it sometimes. And that might be the point. Like, maybe Sean Levy was going for, like, oh, this is not only going to be bonkers in regards to, like, the excitement and, like, Deadpooling or that, but it's going to be bonkers in the sense that you're literally going to have a hard time keeping up, and you're going to want to come see this again, like, because you need to. I'm so happy Sean Levy directed this. I'm so happy that he worked so closely with Ryan Reynolds, and Kevin Feige was a little hands-off on this. It really comes through that Sean and Ryan know Deadpool so well and created such a cool story for him. And I think that there's not enough credit given to Ryan as a producer. Like, seriously, dude, you are an awesome producer. You know how to get shit done since the first Deadpool. Like, with that clip being released, taking advantage of it and, like, help getting that made to, like, where we are now with Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, seriously, I never thought that we were ever going to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together on the big screen like this. I thought the closest thing we were going to get was that one Nolan North voiced Deadpool. Not really the video game, but like the what was it? That one TV movie or direct VOD movie where it's like Hulk and Wolverine and Deadpool. Oh no, I can't remember what's called, but Deadpool's in it, and just the back and forth between Wolverine and him, even though it's not Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, it's just like, it flows so well, and it's so funny, it's so, like, bombastic and annoyed and proud in all the right ways. And how that translates here in the live action with the people we grew up with as seeing them as these characters, but in like different movies and different worlds, kind of essentially. And wow, it was like everything you could ask for.
Well, and like you said, it's such a love letter to the Fox universe and to these characters. And again, like, there was moments in this movie that I started to tear up. Like, it does such a wonderful job of keeping Logan such an important movie in the X-Men universe, and keeping it real, but also giving us a Hugh Jackman Wolverine that I think a lot of people wanted to see in the X-Men films, but we never got, and we finally got him.
Yes, and it was so fulfilling. Like, I can't.
I want to talk so much.
But you know, like you were saying that I was saying about the love letter aspect, I think no place is that more evident, with this being kind of like a swan song almost for it, than the not the post credit scene, but like the during the credits, how it's just a sizzle of all these like behind the scenes of making the Fox universe, like from Fantastic Four to like Ben Affleck's Daredevil, like both versions of Fantastic Four, I may add, and like all the X-Men movies, Deadpool, all of them. And it just, that was the thing that kind of almost brought a tear to my eye, and that was after the movie. I mean, like, it really kind of felt so that was probably one of the greatest self-aware aspects, I think. And it was not really a joke. It was not really a Deadpool thing as much as it was just 20th Century Fox saying, like, hey, we're glad we were here. Thank you for the memories. Peace.
I loved it. It's so funny. Earlier this week, I actually did a presentation about all the X-Men movies, and I had to rewatch them all. And I gave it to you guys as like a recap, but I had to rewatch all these X-Men movies, and growing up with them, it meant so much to me. I absolutely loved that this was so true to the Fox universe. And
because you were more involved and grew up with the X-Men comic books.
Oh my gosh, yes! Like, there's scenes and clips and it just stills in this movie that is a comic book. And when, oh man, a moment that just brought so much joy to me as like a little girl is when Hugh Jackman puts on his Wolverine mask. Like, I never thought in a million years I would see Hugh Jackman in yellow, and I never thought he would wear a Wolverine mask, and it was so cool.
Yeah, and he wore it for much longer than I thought they would let him.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really love, because when I was a kid and I saw those X-Men movies, I'm like, well, why doesn't he wear a mask? And then you see it teased, like in one movie with the credit scene or whatever, and it's never utilized ever again. And you're like, is this ever going to happen? Or do they just want to, does Hugh Jackman's agent just want him to, like, to always have his face out? Or, like, is this like a directing choice? Whose decision is this? I mean, don't get me wrong, Hugh Jackman, handsome man. But, I mean, we want to see Wolvie. And
we got that.
This movie provided something I've wanted since we were little tiny peeps.
I love that they compared it to the Batman mask too. He can move his neck.
Yeah.
But also, like, again, and this is where we can get into cameos, they even show a lot of different Wolverine variants, and a lot of them are callbacks to X-Men comics. I think we got Patch that was there. We had a Wolverine on the Cross, which is a callback to a comic. We had Henry Cavill. Hello, what are you doing here?
Hello.
Cavill Wolverine.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking epic.
That was so cool. And there's so many moments to call back, but I gotta go through all these cameos, Ethan. Like,
no, go for it. I was hoping we would do this.
One thing too, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Wolverine and the Hulk fighting? Let's go.
Yeah, and
first cameo.
They tease it.
So cool.
Yeah, they don't show it. but they tease it.
I'm fine with it.
And honestly, it was nice. It was a good tease.
All right, so we got Cavill, we had Hulk in there, we had Thor, which we kind of all knew about these, but let's talk about the cameos that we did not know.
Or at least you didn't know 98%.
Okay, fine. We'll start off with the one that I got spoiled. Yeah, I knew Human Torch was in this movie.
Yeah, which, by the way, she was so excited about it, and, like, when it happened. But she the way that they do it, right, is that Chris Evans is, like, hooded up, he's masked up, and he's wearing, like, red, white, and blue under his robes. So it's kind of being like, oh, you might be Captain America. Like, this might be a Captain America variant. And then, of course, he says flame on, and he's like, oh, yeah, shit, it's Johnny Storm. That's so cool. You're in the Fantastic Four. And what the thing was, you one of our friends didn't know that, and Annmarie, like, leans over. She's so excited. I don't blame you. You're so excited. Yeah. This is your dream. And you lean over to her and like, sweet Johnny Storm. Like
before he took his hood off and said flame on.
Yeah, like 30 seconds before it was like officially.
But I'm sorry, we knew it was the downfall of the Fox universe, so of course it's Johnny Storm.
I mean, I knew that.
Our friend did it.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. Like, I really wanted Chris Evans to show up as Johnny Storm. This is a hot take. I actually enjoy those Fantastic Four movies. I know they're not good. I know they're not comic accurate, but it's all I have in this world of the Fantastic Four till Pedro Pascal comes on. But
flamin' hot take. No, I'm kidding. It's not that flamin' hot. It's not Chester Cheetah.
I still like those movies, and so seeing Chris Evans, like, yeah, he's Captain America. We all know that, but what we don't know, he's Johnny Storm.
Yes. And I was saying this when we were walking out of the theater. I loved, like, the duality of Chris Evans' personalities with his characters. Mm-hmm. Like, and this one was just basically is Captain. So you guys, Captain America 1, where he's so calm, like, collected, and just like a very stand-up, does not curse kind of guy. This guy, completely the opposite.
I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's fun. I mean, just, Annmarie, what's the next cameo?
All right. Well, poor Johnny Storm's not around forever, but you can't pay Chris Evans the big bucks. I'll go on to the next kind of two we knew, X-23. That was kind of spoiled in the last trailer. Would have been cool.
Yeah, that one, especially with how they revealed her in the movie, self-included, and I'm like, damn, I really wish that they didn't reveal that in the trailer.
Yeah, it would have been cool to come out because it's such an emotional moment. Like, people know X-23, they know what happened in Logan, and so it would have been a cool moment if they had not revealed her in the trailer, but I kind of get why. Like, she's kind of a draw for people.
Yeah, but at the same time, you released that trailer, what was it, like a week before the release?
Yeah.
People, like, most of these screens were sold out, man. Like, I don't think you needed to do that.
No, yeah, you didn't. But I'm so glad Daphne Keene's in it. Like, she loves that character, and I really enjoyed her in this one, too.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the amount of Loki-ness? Not the character of Loki, but, like, the show Loki. Which, by the way, why wasn't Owen Wilson in this movie?
Okay, so are we going to go into crazy theory time?
Yeah, because is your crazy theory that you were talking about earlier, like, revolving around this? Because
I think he was supposed to be in it, and they took him out of it. I don't know why they would take him out of it, because he was rumored a lot, but they used the other TVA agent, I can't remember her name, in it instead, and I think that was supposed to be Mobius.
Interesting.
And so, I don't mind the TVA stuff in it. I kind of figured, like, how do you bring Deadpool into the Marvel Universe? Well, you kind of have to talk about timelines and everything. I'm so glad they set it up. Like, Deadpool 2 was thinking ahead of this.
Yeah. I honestly don't think that if this movie wasn't critical
Mhm.
and self-deprecating, then I'm not sure if it would. I'm not sure. Like, I think that would have dropped the score quite a bit for me. Like, I mean, it has to because it's Deadpool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the level that it went to, where it's like it's going after Disney, and like as much as it did with Feige and like all the other like aspects with the downs of Marvel, that it really just leaned into. I think that was a really big factor in deciding like how well this story and like the tone and like pacing was going to lead to it all culminating together into a wonderful movie. And I think that factor is just the biggest one for me.
Yeah. I think you had to kind of go in that direction.
Yeah.
And I think also the thing that plays into that too is Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova, they do her pretty comic accurate in this. She was Charles' twin, basically gets murdered and everything. I really like the actress that portrays her.
Emma Corrin?
Yeah.
She was wonderful.
I didn't think she was going to be as funny. And she was really funny in this film.
Oh, yeah, she was. She was more than funny. She was wonderful and just a pleasure to see. Just great.
And I hate I'm such not a body horror fan, but
oh gosh, yeah,
it was so cool. Her powers of like, oh, Charles can read your mind, but I need to touch you, and it like stick her hand in your eye
and like phasing through.
It was so wild.
And just like how the face was moving with it at times, like.
I would have loved to see her more. I'm so glad. I kind of got worried because halfway through the movie, she's like, okay, I'll let you guys go. Like, I have the Doctor Strange ring. Like, I'll let you guys go. And I was like, no, I want you to be the main villain. And I'm so glad she kind of came back, too.
Yeah, Tom Wamscam. Succession.
Paradox?
Yeah, Paradox. I'm like immediately thinking of his Succession role.
Yeah.
Him being the main villain, the true main villain of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was a good villain. He was a really fun. It was kind of like as if the actor could just have been like Tom in the MCU, but like still British and just.
That's the thing that fell short for me actually, because why did he want to prune that timeline? Like, what's the big deal?
Well, that was the one he was in charge of, and he wanted to like show how effective he could be and like his way up.
I guess that one I kind of wanted more from him, but
yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't be too against more of I can't remember the act. Oh, Mike, was it McFadden?
Yeah,
I can't remember his first name, but McFadden. And just I could always use more of him. I like you were saying. I think there's so much that's like cut from it.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that they might be doing one of those extended cut things. Where it's like, oh, now that you've seen Deadpool Wolverine, get ready to come back to the theaters for like 5 minutes of extra footage. Woo-woo. Like what they did with No Way Home and what they did with Endgame.
So cool. I think there's so much that you could add to it because, like, again, like.
But it's like, why not just play in the movie?
Well, time length and everything.
Okay. You're 2 hours, 7 minutes. If you have like 5 minutes of extra footage, you think that's gonna make a difference? It's gonna make a difference. Yeah, it's just a way to get people to pull their wallets out again. And I will do it.
I'll pay my.
I will do it.
I'll pay my dues. Okay, we'll finish off our cameo lists though quickly. Elektra, we both kind of.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, we love her. She's funny in this.
I love the line with about Daredevil, just like kind of a knock at Ben Affleck a bit.
I wish he was in that. It would have been cool. The two that I can't believe they still got Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Oh, I love it.
Such a cool fight scene. Like, so much fun.
Oh, man, they did not hold back on the fights.
That was so cool. Like, and of course,
Gambit.
Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Which, by the way, his Cajun accent was probably one of the best parts of the whole movie.
Is there any chance we can get him in the main MCU?
Well, we gotta see if he survived.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. And then other question. We know...
Wait, was he? Because, like, when they were...
No, it was just X-23 that I saw. So here's my other question. Because we had 2 other movies that have come out in Marvel that had big cameos.
Yes.
Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Do you think these cameos were better than those cameos?
Considering that those cameos were mainly utilized to kind of fulfill themselves, yes. Like, I think that this movie does do cameos better. But that's not to say I think lesser of the ones that were in, the multiverse of mom, as we call it. But yeah, I enjoy both. But yeah, if you were to ask me, which movie did you like better, Deadpool Wolverine or Multiverse of Madness? I would probably say Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the cameos of Multiverse of Madness didn't fulfill as much as I wanted, and the cameos in this movie really, they had a purpose of being there, where, the cameos in both of those 2 films, I didn't really think there was a purpose. I think they wanted a big pop in Spider-Man No Way Home. They wanted a huge pop for Mom, Dr. Strange, Multiverse of Madness. But yeah, I think these cameos, like, they really, like, yes, it was a love letter to Fox. We were saying goodbye to these characters. We're moving on. But also, they really helped drive the plot forward.
Yeah, and it gave them a chance to redeem themselves from, what they were put in the past, which obviously didn't have the best writing in the world. But, it was nice that they could fulfill themselves here. Yeah. And to see them in action and all the guts and glory and everything.
Where do they go next, Ethan? We didn't get an end credit scene where it said Deadpool and Wolverine will return. Do we see these characters in the main MCU? Do we see them in maybe Avengers Secret War?
I think that they might be back in Secret War. I don't know if, like, we're going to see them casually in the MCU as much as we probably were hoping. But I don't know, like, it's interesting because if you still have this Logan existing and you have the other one come, like, I don't know, are you going to bring back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to fight, like, the actual MCU's Wolverine? Or, like, there's so many possibilities now that they're keeping the 20th Century Fox timeline alive.
I don't think you could replace Wolverine yet, especially after this movie. I don't think another actor could step in and take over.
I don't know. I think they could. Like, they kind of, with the Henry Cavill cameo, I think it kind of was like a feeler that they put out there to see, like, how would people react if, like, even though it's a funny cameo, like, how would people react if there's a different Wolverine? So, I mean, that, I don't know, maybe this movie is a feeler for a lot of things they might do later on.
Well, and one other thing you said, too, that I don't know if you caught this. Psylocke is in this movie. Now, Psylocke is the X-Men and X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
It's not Olivia Munn. It's not Olivia Munn who plays Cyclops. And you said earlier, you thought this movie would have big repercussions, and you said they might introduce new X-Men characters.
Yes.
I think you were right on that, because it's not Olivia Munn, so it's a different one. Could this be our main Psylocke in the MCU?
Well, considering she's dead.
Okay, well, anything's possible, we've learned.
Well, there's your possibility cut off right there. But hey, if Gambit survives, then you might as well she survived.
I love Channing Tatum so much.
Yeah, that was wonderful. But by the way, you reminded me of little things that we spotted here and there.
Yes.
The joke that I wanted to laugh so hard at in the theater, but no one else was laughing. So that whole sequence where Deadpool was taking Goodpool or whatever it was, you know, and like using him as a human meat shield for all the bullets that were flying at him. And he's just like, oh man, you don't have regenerative powers? Like, oh shit, we gotta like heal you real quick. And he just like, he looks over at this like donut stand or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's gotta have like healing, you know, some sort of first aid kit there or something. Like, that's where we can go to save you. And he's going back across while being shot at by all these other Deadpool variants. And, you know, he's just constantly dying. He's taking a breath and all that. But in the background, while he's standing in the middle of that spot, what do you see? Like, loud and clear with a one-way sign with an arrow pointing to it.
No idea.
You see a medical store with medicine, like bandages, like everything you would need for that, like right behind him.
I didn't catch that at all.
It's just like the donut charts.
I thought, you know what? I didn't catch that because I was like, why is he going to the donut cart?
Yeah, just like, oh, like first aid kit. And then it took me a while, but like, I'm just like looking at the background and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what's the... There's all that medicine that they're like, it's not even like like you could tell they were doing that on purpose because I don't think there's too many like pharmacies or stuff that like put stuff in their windows like, look at this bottle of medicine and all that. Like, no, they put everything, like all those shelves at the forefront of their glass window, like to really emphasize, oh, there's so much medicine in there, man.
I did not catch that at all. I need to rewatch this movie.
We do. Yeah, Annmarie, is there... okay, like, we're coming out, like, late at night. We went to a late showing.
Yeah.
We finished our non-spoiler review and then immediately jumped to this one for y'all. And I gotta ask, Annmarie, while we wrap things up here, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to talk to our lovely audience about with
like,
this movie?
Again, go see this movie. It's worth seeing it again. It's worth seeing it in the movie theaters. Superhero fatigue is not real. It's bad writing fatigue. And this is good writing and it brings something new to the table. And I'm just so excited. And congrats everyone who worked on this film. And oh my God, thank you for bringing Channing Tatum back. I'm so pumped about it.
God, that Cajun accent, just so fucking hilarious.
Good. But really, I think this movie, you know what? If this is the end for Deadpool, I don't think it is. I think they're going to do a Deadpool 4 one day. But if this is the end, I'm okay with this ending.
Would they do a Deadpool 4 with a different Deadpool?
Stop. Don't do this.
Because, I mean, if you're going to do the same thing with Wolverine, where it's like you get a new Wolverine in the MCU.
Blake Lively.
Ladypool, you go the route of Ladypool.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one that I'm not vehemently against.
Walker Scobell as Kidpool.
Start with cool. You might be onto something there.
I got you, Marvel. Call me up.
All right. Yeah, guys. So we got out of seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. We did our reviews. This movie that we've been dying to see for years, ever since it was announced, ever since we were children watching X-Men movies. This is the movie we were waiting for.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. And it's here. Y'all need to go see it. If there's a theater that's packed, find your way in. Just
legally. Find your way in.
Find your way in. And if you have to go the route of illegally, don't do it. Don't do that. Don't.
You're good, Deadpool.
Yes. So, anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take, the spoiler dirty section, the red tape, if you will.
We're wearing our red
I wonder, is
pants.
that what we should call, like, spoiler sections? Like, the red tape?
Oh!
Ooh.
New title coming.
Yo, okay. But anyway, hey, let us know what you're thinking about this movie, all those spoilery details in those comments down below, because if you are watching this video, you should know the spoilers and all that, so you feel free to talk about them. Let us know your thoughts, but make sure that when you do, you put big capital letters, spoilers, so that way if someone accidentally clicks on it, they'll be like, oh, fuck, and then, like, quick.
Make sure they're wearing their brown pants.
And yellow. So, yes, wear your SpongeBob coordinated pants. So yeah, guys, we hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but if you have, either way, please don't forget to rewind that red tape. Yeah, I'm liking that. We're sticking with that.
Okay.
And you all have a wonderful day or night where you give your maximum effort.
Let's fucking go!
Fucking go!